Bad policies have consequences, so do good ones. Argentina scrapped its rent controls. Tom, I'm coming to you with this one here. Scrapped its rent controls. Now the market is thriving. This is a Wall Street Journal story. Argentina's removal of rent controls under President Javier Milei has triggered a rental market boom, and with Buenos Aires rental supply increasing over 170%. While rents are still high in normal terms, real prices have dropped 40% for adjusting for inflation, giving many renters better deals than before. Landlords who previously kept properties vacant or used them for short-term rentals like Airbnb are now returning them to the market. However, rent increases every 3 months allowed under new contract have made housing unaffordable for more, with tenants like Romina Micenta saying their rent increased almost threefold. Milei's economic overhaul includes removing price controls on essentials like milk, gas, aiming to curb Argentina's 237% inflation rate. Tom.
Guess what? Capitalist leadership wins. What Milei did, so you have rent controls. You're one of my favorite
case study.
Exactly.
Actors.
So I tell you, you cannot rent that apartment for more than $4,000.
Okay. Is it my apartment?
Yeah, you own it.
Okay.
Like you own a condo.
Okay.
3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You can't rent it for more than $4,000.
All right.
But loophole, you don't lease it. You put it on Airbnb and you make $400 a night.
Oh.
Guess what? You only rent it half the nights, 10, 15, that's $6,000. So do you put it out in the rental market at $4,000 a month on an annual lease, or do you Airbnb it for $6,000 a month?
Airbnb.
Correct. So guess what? The price control from the government creates a shortage. A shortage because they're not on the market. You're trying to just do Airbnb, vacation rentals. So he takes out the wage and price controls on that, the controls, and guess what happens? The supply comes out and people can get there. And suddenly the market is behaving as it should, which is the supply of rentals to the demand from people. Suddenly the tide comes in, the tide comes out. The ocean of the rental market is operating the way it should. And guess what? It's because Milei pulled socialist programs off the table and said, just like that, what was the famous afuera. He lines up everything in the government. That's got to go. That's got to go. Well, you know what he said? To rent controls, afuera. And guess what happened? People are able to find housing. Now, is the inflation all the way down? No. But this is a guy showing leadership. And by the way, you know what America's going to need 75 years from now? We're going to need a Milei. Because if we keep going the way we're going and we don't get the leadership in and we don't do the things we should do, and when the conservatives don't spend up and spend what they should spend to put the institutions in place and protect institutions, then you're going to be like Argentina. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to be looking for your political messiah, and it's going to be a guy like Milei. Mm-hmm. Because go look what happened to Greece in Europe when they got to there and they had to put austerity on the books. Okay, you have to work 5 years later. Mm-hmm. You can't have your Social Security because we're broke. Their equivalent of Social Security. So you have to work 5 years later. And by the way, there'll be 10% less when you get there. Why? Because we're broke. So is that what we want? We want it. The experiments have played out. And what you're seeing, if people with eyes to see, is Milei is the leader of the USA 75 years from now, if we go down to this absolute whirlpool and get sucked down the drain by the socialist progressive policies, this is where it ends up. Where you have somebody that finally steps up and says, to go forward, we need to pull all this government out and release it. The same thing that Reagan said. We don't need more government. We need less. People are looking for government to be the solution when government is the problem. What Milei is doing here is showing leadership. It ain't over. He's got to make more good decisions. He's got to keep pushing. But look at the progress he's making by pulling the socialist things back off the table. And I just hope he can hang on. I hope he can get reelected when it's time. I hope he can hang on. I hope the arms of corruptions don't emerge from the abyss and strangle him. I hope he can keep it up because he's got it started.
I got to tell you, I fully agree with the biz doc. He's fired up. He's got me fired up right now. Because what's the famous quote from Reagan? What are the most terrifying words you ever hear? I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I don't think so, buddy. So the whole premise of price controls, rent controls, what's the root word here?
Control.
And what are they controlling? It's the government controlling what you can and can't do with your property or with goods and services, right? And they put mandates on the maximum and minimum of what you can sell things for, whether it's gas, whether it's milk, whether it's your rent, whatever it is. So, you talked about afuera, we're going to cut it out. He literally, and our friend Humberto will remember this, he used to go to all his election campaign rallies with what? A chainsaw. And be like, we're going to scrap all this BS and cut the fat because it's basically weighing us down. What was the inflation in Argentina when he took over? 237%. No good, Argentina, mi gente. It's no good. So he's coming in there and basically saying, no, we're done with this. And the problem that we're starting to see in Latin America, I mean, it's been a pervasive problem, is, they're promoting socialism, which is basically communism light, as if it's worked anywhere before. So here's this full-on capitalist. Look at him with the chainsaw. Look at him go.
And he's
basically
on.
saying,
you see it?
oh, yeah, he's going to cut someone's hand off if they're part of the government. So he's coming in and basically saying free market capitalism is where it's at. I believe in Western civilization and capitalism, free market enterprise, and we're going to cut your hand off, literally, possibly, if you try to reach in our pockets and basically steal our money, because taxation is theft and rent control is basically theft. And he's just not playing the game anymore. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to top that, he.
But you better speak in a Spanish accent, fuera.
Pero he said at the UN at the General Assembly. This is why I love him as well. He said that COVID lockdowns are a crime against humanity, and he said ridiculous WEF, leading world to bleak future. Anybody that loves this country like
World
that,
Economic Forum, and Klaus, the Star Wars character.
Yeah, this guy is no joke, and that's why they're kicking ass.
He's the anomaly in Latin America.
Yeah, he is. But by the way, we know what Humberto, shout out to Humberto, told us about what's going on with Colombia when you're talking about the guy. Colombia's worse than Maduro. They're going through their set of issues right now. And Venezuela having the challenge that they got today with the lady Maria and Edmundo, I believe that 67 to 31, some ridiculous number. And he's saying, no, he won 52%. So what Milei is doing is an anomaly. He had a meeting with Musk the other day. Musk showed up with a black Let's Make America Great Again hat. So these alliances are being made. But let me tell you guys, this is how I start my day every day. And throughout the day, I do this 4 or 5 times when I want to know. When I'm in meetings, yesterday I was in meetings from the second I came in to the second I left. I was in meetings nonstop. So when I don't have time and I want to know what's going on throughout my day, every time I do this, I go to vtnews.ai. Okay, so this is vtnews.ai. If you haven't yet used it, I go in there on the news and I have the highest level on there, which is $19.99 a month, unlimited amount of questions to ask the AI, the Ask VT AI on there. And I go there to Rob, if you can zoom in a little bit so the audience can see it, if you have the AI edition all the way at the top. I ask that question, go a little lower, Rob, go a little lower. I ask that question, what are the top 5 news events today, 4 or 5 times a day? Because it changes, because news changes. So click on that and let's see what it spits out. Can you zoom out a little bit so we can see it? So at any point, so let's just say based on, zoom in a little bit, let's see what it says. Based on the recent information here, the 5 significant news. Vice President Kamala Harris has been actively campaigning in battleground states, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, focused on economic development, healthcare. Okay, got it. President Joe Biden spoke at Bloomberg Global Business Forum during Climate Week NYC, highlighting his administration achievement combating climate change. Okay. A video from 218 has surfaced showing then Senator Kamala Harris chanting down with deportation. What? Yeah. Did you see this?
I never saw it.
Is that true, Rob?
I'll go find it.
Well, hang on. Let's continue with this. At a parade, contrasting with her current campaign rhetoric on border security. Very weird. Vice President Harris recently participated in a high-profile live stream with Oprah Winfrey, Michigan, attracting hundreds of thousands of viewers.
What's this?
And addressing camp. Former President Donald Trump abruptly ended an interview at the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona due to security concerns.
What? That just happened?
Whoa. That's why I use vtnews.ai.
Wow.
Okay. And by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed, just go to we hired 15 machine learning engineers to create this. And the level of people that have subscribed to it, we've not seen numbers like this before. Go to vtnews.ai, test the freemium. But if you really want to leverage the AI, the lopsided stories, the which way stories are leaning, it shows you all of it, the timeline of events. If you go on timelines, Rob, on the timelines and go to Trump's timeline, it'll show you any top right. It'll show you any stories with what's happening in the peaks. You can literally go to that thing and see what's going on. Again, go to vtnews.ai. AI. Leverage the technology that we worked the last 9 months putting together for us that we're sharing with you.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.